The fallout continues over a report showing the Boy Scouts of America shielded scoutmasters and others accused of molesting children. Here now are the facts first. The report from 1965 to 1985 shows there were 112 cases in New York State. 3 of them happened locally in Troy, Middleburgh, and Whitehall. There were also 2 cases in Berkshire County and 1 in Bennington, Vermont. Our Pat Bailey poured through the documents all day. He's live at the Capitol Bureau with what he found. And Pat, just what went on with the Boy Scouts?
Well, Jerry, to say the least, some very horrific stuff. Here is an example. This is a resignation letter by a former Troy assistant fire chief who was a scout leader, and it dates back to 1974. It says, quote, "Due to serious emotional and psychiatric problems, I find it in the best interest of scouting that I resign from the movement," end quote. So why did he resign? Well, it's this letter from the Governor Clinton Council. That's the scout troop that he belonged to. It states that the man we know as Paul Bohrer to have taken a boy, on a camping trip, and he sexually abused him. This story is just one of thousands that have been told, but more importantly, it's one of tens of thousands that have not been told.
Thousands and thousands and thousands of young boys out there that were abused by the Boy Scouts, starting in the early 1920s or 30s, and going through to 2012.
The problem is not all of their stories have been told.
There's an awful lot of scouts and former scouts out there that are victims that have not come forward and probably never will come forward.
Steve Crew is an attorney who worked on the first Boy Scout abuse case in 2010. That court ruling opened the door to shed light on the heinous acts the Boy Scouts tried to cover up.
When the Boy Scouts found out about what was going on, what did they do about it?
Well, by and large, they did nothing about it other than to put the person in the file. They did not go to the police about it. They did not go to the parents about it. They did not train their staff about it. They certainly did nothing to warn scouts that sex abuse by a scoutmaster was a distinct possibility.
Now, Pat, there were 1,250 cases, we're told, from 1965 to 1985. How many occurred after 1985?
Well, attorney Steve Crew, the man you just heard from, says his office has documents to show this was in fact going on post-1985 at a rate he says higher than the previous 20 years. However, those documents are still sealed because the cases have not yet been brought to court. Now, what he did say was the Boy Scouts destroyed many files back in the 1970s, so it's also unclear if the current report would be larger. In all, from the time the organization was formed, he estimates between 6,000 and as many as 25,000 cases, all, of course, may not have been told because victims still not willing to come forward.
Jerry. All right, Pat, thanks very much for your live report.